Willingboro track team has the 19th state title, as you took first place title in the shot put,
55-meter hurdles,
the high jump,
4x200 relay,
and the 4x400, holding the record for the most track state titles by a public school in the history of New Jersey track and field. So this is great. How do you feel?
Oh, I'm very excited about it. And in fact, when we actually the night before, I told them there would be an opportunity for us to win another state title. Not really doing a count though, not at that time. It was till later on after when we found out it was 19. We said, man, it was a historical moment that we had about to bring to Willingboro. And also within the fact of all the people who came before us, for the team that I coach and stuff like that. But I'm very ecstatic about those guys. And the names that the relays that you mentioned, yes, we were aiming for those all week long. We was just making sure we prep ourselves to be champions all the way around and about with that.
Okay.
Coach, introduce yourself.
Martin Booker from Willingboro High School, and of course from Camden High School is where I went to attend high school.
Who are you?
How can I say? Jesus, really quick. I'm a young man, I would say. I may look very young, and I could be just that. I'm not going to say my age, but been doing this for a very long time in track and field. Myself, a native of Camden High School, native of Camden, that is, came to Camden High School, went to Villanova University, did my track and field there as well. Then did some professional football. Had some time there with that, and come back to the community of Camden and did some coaching, did some teaching. Then later on came here to Willingboro, somehow or another, come back to this way, to the school, and participate as a coach in football and in track. And I've been enjoying it ever since. This is my about 14th, 15th year here at Willingboro. Okay. Came in 2008, and I've been enjoying it ever since.
Can you give us an idea of what specifically brought you to the Willingboro community to be a part of the sports here?
Okay, at the time I was appointed by the athletic director at the time was Dave Riley. At the time I wasn't employed any longer in the school district in Camden and such, and so I had a conversation with him, and of course coach at the time in football was Hayes Bell. He had also kind of, called me up and asked me if I'd be interested in helping him out here with football first, and then as an assistant with him. And then, of course, Coach Hayesbell had the track program at the same time, and he thought that he had a lot on his plate doing football and as being the head coach in track. He then asked me if I would take over the program for track and field, and I've been enjoying it. Doing so because he knew how much I had passion for the sport, and therefore it's been ever since a great marriage.
Awesome.
What has been your most challenging experience in this role?
Trying to continue with the tradition of this program. It really wasn't that hard, but it was hard when it has been away for a while. Prior to me coming here, the kind of program kind of went down a little bit within the way the dynamics of the community, I think, was going through some changes with the district and stuff like that, people moving and leaving the district. And so then trying to get the athletes to remind them or to kind of bring back the tradition of the Carl Lewis and Carol Lewis's tradition that they had brought with the track and field program, which was built pretty much primarily, right? And so I just found that it was really challenging just to keep that history, bring it about with them. And me, myself, being a former runner at Camden and competing against Willingboro, I do know of the success that Willingboro has had in this track program. Knowing, again, the Carl and the Carol. I went to, not going to school with Carol, but I was there in her year. And Carl, who's 2 years older than me, I saw his success and things of that nature. And I just knew this was a rich community with track and field, and they was very fond of their program, of the many track dual meets they have won. They had all these winnings and going on and everything like that. And just to bring back the history to the students here of old, or of new, I should say, was the challenge part for me to do. Because at the time, people, or young men, I should say, because that's who I had, the young men, had no idea about the Penn relays, about the Woodbury relays, about the state championships and things of that nature, or the things in which Carl and Carol was represented at the track program to be successful in the South Jersey area, let alone New Jersey. And of course, the name itself had carried, but then after a while, I think time went on as before I come. I just then felt like when I came in as coach and I said to students and I asked them about this event and that person and so forth, they hardly knew any of that stuff was going on. So bringing that back was the challenging part for me to do. So I think now some of the kids, even to this day now, I'm still trying to bring forth Carl, Isaac Williams, some other young men that I also had coached to continue the tradition, to keep our track tradition going on with our winnings as we have done so. And I'm very proud of that for them and for the school.
So as you've mentioned the history, when you consider that history of all the great achievements that the team has made over the years, would you say that you expected to achieve such greatness, which is the level that they're on right now? Was there ever a doubt?
No, I expected, because once I bring it on to them and let them understand about some of the things that went on at Penn Relays or at the sectional championships or at these relay championships that we did, I just knew from that point on the expectation of me believing that. I thought that I had to hurry up and get that across to them, and that is expected that they do learn it quick. And if we learn it quick, then we can continue on where we were left off or where Carl and I left off at, even though that's a different time era now. But the point is that people still look at Willingboro now as a potential great program still in this community. And it's not only this community, but also in the state. And I reiterate that because the simple fact that now when I go into track meets now, a lot of guys are really concerned. Is Willingboro here? Or you guys going to be here? Or you guys going? Now the name is starting to come back, and I like that. Not only just for that, but I like it for the kids, and I like for the kids to take it home to their parents, and they can tell their parents, and maybe they come to the track meets as well, and be a part of the whole thing and seeing how it's going. So my expectation was that I didn't think it would be difficult, but as long as I can get the history to them and let them understand that the history does have a part of what happens in the future, then we can continue doing what we've been doing.
When you hear the title Recreating Willingboro, what do you think of?
Recreating Willingboro. In that regards, I'm just thinking that what we need to do and what we can do is just try to get more people involved in there now at this present time. And I mean, I'm talking about with the families. As you mentioned, as you heard me say before, I said the kids to go home and tell their parents. And if I can get those parents to come to these community events, or our track meets, well alone our football games, in which we have had, and we do have that, where we have the Little League football program come in turn, and we announce them, and their parents are there. And I think they like that enlightenment, and as well as the little ones, because that's where it starts, right? The little ones, that's how it's going to continue to grow and get bigger. If we can get those little ones back and stay in the area to participate with our sport programs, as well as be leaders in our communities as well, I think we'll do a great job within keeping this recreation of Willingboro to a stronghold as it is, and can be, of course. But it starts with the little ones, and then it's also with the little ones, the leadership of us, the adults, need to play our part too, with the board members, some city representatives, people like that. And I know that we have been trying to grab a hold of people in the community, the church, the businesses, and things of that nature of doing it.
Coach, in the position that you're in, there are a lot of people who hold positions like this as coaches in different schools for different sports. For some of them, they are very passionate about what they do, and for others, it's just a job. When you think about your passion for what you do, the love for what you do, the impact that it makes on the youth that are involved, can you tell us a little bit about what drives you?
Pretty much easy though to say, because the success that I had as a student and as a coach, I was saying in my previous years before coming to Willingboro and stuff like that, has a play in that I feel though that just growing in the aspect of, how can I put it? The things that I have done, high school-wise, college, my own children, I felt that those are the things that I can contribute to giving back to letting others know what my expectations are and how it can grow for them as well, just the same. And what I mean by that, I'll go back and say, now within track and field, you said with the passion of what one would have. When I was in school, and we oftentimes looking for scholarships and stuff like that, as far as our people, that was one of the aspects that I was reaching out for when I was a student. Hope my coach can get me there. Same thing I'm looking for these young people to say things for me. Can my coach get me to a scholarship? Can me, as far as the coach, to help you, your parent, your wallet, your purse, to help your child to get into a scholarship money if they can run really well or to a sport really well, and get involved. So those are the things that kind of keeps me going to the fact if I can do that for a child and help a parent out or a family, that's what compassion that keeps me going with this. It's not about the money and things like that. Many people will tell you that. With me, it's not even about the money that I get paid for doing the stipend job of coaching here. It's really my passion for the sport, the way I love it, the way I look at the Olympic Games, the things I look at when I go to pen relays, the training itself. And besides that, it becomes just not only just about training, because for me, it gives me my platform to be a father figure, more so than a coach, where I can talk to some of these young men, which they do have some issues, and which I get a chance to talk about. There's some of the things that goes on with us, and then what some of the things that they're responsible for and accountable for to be young men to be in their relationships with with young ladies as well as their folks at home. That's what kind of drives me, again, my platform to be able to do my contributing part as not only just as coach, but as a figure, a mentor, father figures, and all that. Which you always say that coaches always have multiple hats. Many people and kids will tell you I do wear a lot of hats. Nurse, doctor, lawyer, psychologist. I'm all that for them. So that that passion for us to do the coaching, if you're really into it, like the way I am, and many of my coaches know that's how I am. That I look to actually, filter into them all that I can give them as far as our young men. Young ladies too, I have a conversation with them, but since we're talking about me with the boys more, so I just feel it's very important for us today, for our young men, because of the things that we're encountering within social media, within the social events, the culture, the things that's happening out there since the pandemic season and stuff like that, all the stuff that happened with justice and all that stuff. It gave me a little bit of a platform to be able to say something to make them understand. And there was questions that was asked, and I was able to answer some of them to let them understand where we are and where we need to stand.
So let's start with your name, your age, how long you've lived in Willingboro, and where you're from.
My name is Xavier Tolliver. I'm 17. I lived in Willingboro for about 5 years, and I'm from Philadelphia.
I'm Zanais Hughes. I've lived in Willingboro my whole life. My name is Christopher Johnson. I'm 18. I have lived in Willingboro my whole life.
My name is Brian Gary. I'm 18. I lived in New York for a little bit. I lived in Willingboro for about 3 years.
I'm Bryson Bright. I'm 18. Been here since elementary school, and I'm from Norfolk, Virginia.
Nice. Gentlemen, you have a list of titles. How does it feel? It's incredible. How does it feel?
It feels pretty good. Just to be able to bring all these titles here, show that we are the best in the group in the state sometimes. So, pretty nice.
And I think that we all looked up to the others our freshman year, and now we're doing what they did.
So what particularly, if there is anything, caused you to want to join the track team? There's so many other sports that I believe some of you play other sports besides track too, but what is it that drew you to the track team?
It was really an accident. I started off playing football, and one of my coaches told me I should try track just to stay in shape. And my freshman year, I fell in love with the sport, and here we are now.
For me, it was when I was in 8th grade. I was coming here for one time for football workouts, and I seen Coach C in the back with his throwers. He pulled me aside. He was like, "Are you Isaiah's brother?" I said, "Yeah." He's like, "Cool. Just know you're doing track." I said, "Oh, okay." Crazy.
With me, I've been doing track since I was 9 years old. I fell in love with it since I was 12, so I knew straight from the jump that when I get here, I was going to throw.
I started track 7th grade. I used to have a coach, Mr. Fouché. He told me, he was like, He was like, I seen the way you run. He was like, you can't stop running. He was like, you got to go to the next level. So I was like, I'm going to do it for him. I'm going to go to the next level.
For me, it started with Coach Book. Football is my main sport, and then I decided to do track as to stay in shape, and then I kind of liked it a little bit, and I just stuck with it.
Nice. You know you are labeled as hometown heroes. Did you know that?
No.
No? Well, you are. And if we look at what a hometown hero is, it's someone who makes a difference within their community. How do you feel that you personally have made a difference in Willingboro?
I don't really want to say we made a difference, but there are younger kids that do come in and do come to games and come to meets and look at us that already want to be athletes, and seeing us do what we do, it makes them want to strive to get it even more. Or like the freshmen that come and they want to live up to what we did and excel, so it makes them work harder.
Yeah. I don't really personally think that we're really hometown heroes. I feel like that's a really big title to have. But like I feel as though we just brought like a bigger name to Willingboro, just increase the legacy of the school.
Anyone else want to share?
Well, yeah, like Anaya said, creating to the legacy of the school, wanting the younger kids to come to Willingboro instead of leaving, going to other schools, stuff like that. And yeah.
So right now, this track team holds the most titles in the entire state. That's a really big deal. What kind of challenges did you have to go through or overcome in order to get where you are?
Coach Book's workouts.
You just gotta work. Keep working. When you get tired and don't want to work, that's when you gotta work even harder. It's just nonstop. Because it's whoever wants it more. And if you stop, or if you feel like you're gonna take a break, you're gonna get beat. You just gotta keep going.
Yeah, it takes staying after practice, before practice, putting in extra hours just to get better, to do what you love.
And part of it's a mental thing. So, not everything that, how can I put this? Even doing stuff outside of practice can help a lot as well.
I think being consistent is a big part of it. Not coming to practice, not doing things like that leads to you not being able to do what you feel as though you're capable of.
I think you just gotta be strong mentally, because this sport isn't really for everyone. Like you said, Coach Book workouts make people quit.
For the week.
Yeah,
Not for the week.
Not for the week.
You're speaking about coaches' workout, but what about personal obstacles? Things that might prevent you from even coming to practice? Anything like that you want to share?
If you really love the sport and your parents are really they want to support you, you don't really have too many problems at home. You just got to make sure everything is straight first, so you can just focus on what you need to do.
And I always make it fun for myself so that it makes me want to do it even more than I'm supposed to.
Yeah, like building bonds. It makes everything more fun.
Okay. Well, what do you guys want to do next? After high school, what's next?
Going to college.
Going to college?
Yeah.
College.
Going to Rowan University.
What's your major? What's your interest?
I'm going for athletic training.
Athletic training, okay. Same?
No, I'm going for computer science.
Okay,
I'm going for mass communications.
okay.
I'm going for economics.
Nice. You know what you want to do?
I still got a year left to
Junior.
decide. I'm
You
younger.
got time.
Yeah, I'm younger than all of them. I'm still a junior, so I still have time to decide.
So aside from the sports, aside from running track, just thinking of being a young adult in the Willingboro Township community, do you feel as though your voice as a young adult is being heard in Willingboro?
It really all just depends on what it is. Overall, as a whole, no, not really at all. But certain little things,
Like?
our dress code, we end up forcing them to change our uniform and just give us a dress code. And that took a lot, like a lot. So overall, as a whole, no, we're not really heard at all.
Like there's times where it's like they give us chances to speak, but it's not always like, oh, we're listening to what you're saying. It's just, oh, get your thoughts out, and then we'll make the decision on the side.
It's like really them just giving us a chance to speak so they can say, we got to talk, not even to actually consider it, just to say, oh, we gave our students a chance to speak and say what they want out of their school and community.
So what would you do to improve Willingboro?
Everything.
Come on, be specific.
Come back and help out the community.
How?
Help out with whether it be like coming back and helping coach at the high school, middle school, or like helping fund stuff if they need it, if I have the money.
Okay. What can you do now? How would you help to improve Willingboro now? I mean, you are making a name.
I would probably encourage the youth to, move on, try to, get into sports. If you're not into sports, things like that, stay academic, stay academically good and things like that. Really tell them it matters, because if you want to go to college, it really matters now, not before, when you get to 12th grade and things like that.
When you consider the things that go on outside of the school in our community, I'm sure y'all know a lot of stuff that happens in our community when people are not in school. Is it safe to say that being a part of Willingboro High School sports has kept you out of a lot of trouble?
Yes. Absolutely. So usually the sports keep us inside.
Keeps you with people doing the same things you're
People
trying to
doing
do,
the same thing, that want the same goals and have the same aspirations as you.
This is paying for my college, so I have to study.
Okay. Okay. So what would you tell other young people then, right now? You already said stay in school. You already said stay academic. You said get into sports. Is there anything else outside of the sports arena that you would tell young people today?
Stay to yourself, pick your friends wisely.
Yeah.
Just don't fall into that peer pressure. Just stay on the right path, stay out of trouble.
Do whatever's best for you.
Good.
Thank you.
Thank you guys for sharing your voice and being a part of recreating Willingboro.